Hey, hey, hey.
What's up, Tiff? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. How's it going, Val?
You know what? Things are great. I have to say things are great because how else are they supposed to be, right? How about you?
You got to make it a great day sometimes. You got to really squint really hard to see the greatness in the day. And sometimes it might be something really small. But today was a pretty good day. It's been a good week so far. I know it's only the start to the week, but so far, so good.
So far, so good. I have to agree. And well, actually, we don't have too far to look for something great because in our celebration of episode 10, we had a raffle going on. And so in our raffle, we had people enter and we randomly drew a winner. The winner received some amazing prizes. So from you and Our Words Matter, they could possibly win a gift card of $20 and a free one-on-one call with you for your services. And then the other option, because there's two of us, is that they could get the same thing from me. They could get a $20 gift card and a one-on-one call for my services as well. So we have a winner. And drum roll, please. The winner is Miss
Wanda.
Wanda Wozniak.
Woo!
Yay!
Congratulations. Like they say, you can't win if you don't play. So thank you for all those who entered our raffle. And we will be getting our raffle prize over to our winners. So congratulations.
Absolutely.
Excellent. All right. Well, I know that we have another great topic because every Tuesday we have a great topic. And this week doesn't disappoint. So this one is really, I think, going to be eye-opening for parents that we have watching, and then teachers will definitely be able to relate. And we want to talk about resources in education. So show me the money, basically, our title topic for this week, and how human capital is funded in education, and that human capital being teachers. And so we're going to dive a little bit further into funding, where that goes in the schools, what schools do with funding. We know funding for education typically gets cut and you're asked to do more with less, but the money that schools are given, what is being done with that money to really invest in teachers as the profession and teachers as the human as well. So I know, Valerie, we always like to start with our personal connection to our topics because that's what makes it authentic. So I know you had a great example to share with our audience.
So, like you said, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes from the outside looking in, and even sometimes from the inside. Like, where is this money going? We know schools are getting funding, even though there's this, this complaint in the air about not having enough funding. But schools do get funding, and they do buy resources. Certain funds are earmarked for certain types of resources, and so, sometimes you'll say that, can I get this? And they're like, maybe we got to see where we're going to pull that from, type of thing. So my example, I needed some materials, and I don't know if this is a good example right now. Actually, this probably live people. You look.
Well, I know for me, so I've always worked as a special education person in the building doing speech therapy. And when it came time for me to pick out what I wanted to spend my money on, the principal, AP or the secretary would come and be like, hey, Tiffany, you have X amount of dollars to buy resources. And so I'd be like, oh, great, because I have my eye on some websites. I have my eye on some catalogs that are very specific to what I do for speech therapy. And I know exactly what I need from these places. And then I would be told, no, you can't order from there. You have to order from this website or this catalog. So I go through it and I'm looking, I'm clicking through the links, and I'm like, I don't need any of this stuff. But as most people know, when you're given a budget and you have money to spend, you spend it, or they look at the spend and say, oh, they didn't need all that money. So next year we're going to give them less. So you want to spend it on something. So I end up just picking something out of this catalog that I don't really need, that I can't really use with my students, but I'm just trying to spend X amount of dollars that they gave to me to spend. And so it just was very frustrating to me because I could have taken those funds and bought something that was very specific to me and the students that I was serving, something that I really needed that I'd rather not spend my own money on. But eventually I did end up spending my own money on it. And so it really does kind of put you in a position where you feel forced to make a choice that doesn't really align with the needs of the kids that are in front of you. So at your grade level, I know in middle school and high school, does it kind of work that same way when it comes to money for the year to get materials and resources?
It does. Like, I know in several schools, I was told that, we have this pot of money that needs to be spent, because if we don't spend it, then it might be considered that we don't need that much and we won't get that much next time. So there's definitely situations like that that pop up. I guess I will go ahead and tell my friend's story. Uh, but, but it's okay. So I think it's fine, and I do think it's something that should be brought up for people to know. So, a friend of mine in his school, he told me that they had some cuts in human capital, with all the budget cuts and things that are happening these days, especially since it's been a couple years after COVID. Like, most schools are running out of COVID money, so to
Mhm.
speak. And a lot of things they had in place, they've had to kind of, dissipate at this point with the funds. And so the school adjusted, they rearranged how things were going. They cut positions, teacher positions, just to be clear. And so about a month and a half into the school year, he says that they have this huge sum of money that they need to spend up because of that same thing. Like, if we don't spend it, we might not get as much next time.
Yeah.
But the catch was, it was so much money that what he said, they could have hired like at least 2 teacher positions
Oh, wow.
when they got rid of several.
Wow.
And the only thing they wanted them to spend money on was like materials, like physical, tangible materials, or like curriculum, online programs, those types of things, but not the humans in the building.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that was really alarming to me, to hear that, like, that's how the money is being dispersed. Like, that's where it's going. And those are the types of things that they feel like should be funded.
Hmm. And I
Why are
just
we
think
not investing in the human capital to teach the humans that are in the building?
exactly. And I think it can be both, right? It's the power of both and. Teachers need both materials slash resources, and they need investment in them as professionals and also as humans as well. And so when we talk about that investment in human capital, what we're talking about and referencing are some of those things that we talked about during our teacher burnout series: the mental health support, the little things that schools can do to make teacher lunch periods a little bit less chaotic, to give teachers more time in their classrooms for planning, giving teachers opportunities to collaborate with grade level members to plan out their desires for professional development. So when we say investing in the human capital, that's what we're talking about. And schools tend to invest more in the resources and materials, which are needed as well, right? Kids
Right.
need books, they need workbooks, they need pencils, all that great stuff, because all the school supplies that parents send their kids to school with at the top of the year, it doesn't go very long, especially in a
Come on.
classroom.
Christmas, you might as well do it all over again at Christmas. Let it be part of the present.
Exactly. So really like understanding that investment in teachers is just as important as the investment in resources. And we know that there's a lot of money spent on curriculum materials. I know you have the experience of coming back from the end of one school year, going into that pre-planning for the next school year, and it's like, oh, so now we're using this new curriculum to teach this subject area. All of those materials that went along with that new curriculum cost money. Also, I know you talked about the investment in technology as well, which none of these things that we're saying schools are investing in are bad. Like it's a waste of money. Not that at all, but it has to be balanced, right? Can you just speak to some of the investments you've seen in technology in the classroom in schools?
Yeah, so like you said, just different pieces. I know for me, I've gotten a document camera in my room. Schools get like smart boards, the touch boards that you write on that can also pull up the internet and use it as a monitor. Um, just all kinds of little neat little gadgets that are great and can enhance the learning environment, but it doesn't make the learning environment because it's all about how you use those things. Even the curriculum materials that you pick, there can be a company out there that provides great curriculum. I teach math, and so it's kind of difficult sometimes to get a curriculum that fits the specific needs you have for your kids in your classroom and in your building. And all of that, though, depends on the teacher that uses it and how that teacher uses it. And in my experience, it seems like a lot of that is not taken into consideration. When we get these things, sometimes we do get training for it, especially programs that are computer-based programs.
Yeah.
We'll get training, but the training is not sufficient nor timely for how it needs to be used effectively and efficiently in the classroom. So we get it like you said, during the summer, right at the beginning of the school year. And if it's a brand new program that you're not used to, you're just trying to figure out how to assign stuff to kids at the beginning. Well, the kids have come. And when all the kids and all the chaos of school is happening, again, time factor, when is their time to actually sit down and become proficient at navigating this new system?
Yeah.
It's not really. So it takes a while for those things to really have the effect that you're hoping that it has.
Yeah. And so I know a lot of times, like we mentioned, the change in curriculum for a specific subject, then all the kids are now required to learn this material the same way. And if we just look at ourselves as individuals, we don't all learn the same way. You might be a visual learner, I might be an auditory learner, but the curriculum is purchased for that grade level and everybody is expected to use it. So when you have been in the position of being asked to use dollars and you wanted to purchase curriculum-based materials that you knew would really have an impact on your students, were you allowed to make a shift to say, okay, I know this money is supposed to be used on this site or for this particular thing? Were you able to make shifts and convince leadership that, hey, I know my kids best and this is really what they need?
I'd have to say most of the time not. But that wasn't all of the time. It really just depended on the leadership and kind of like what they believed about the teacher's knowledge and expertise in their classroom, in their zone with their kids. So fortunately, I have experienced where before they even purchase the material, the curriculum, or whatever, they allow us teachers to give our suggestions and give our input and say to us, we're not going to pick this for you because we want it to be something that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in a lot of those cases, they want everybody that's teaching the same math course, for example, to get the same thing. But I've been in cases where it's like, well, what's going to work best for you, Miss Wilson? Then
Mm-hmm.
we'll just get a piece of that for your classes. And like that, as a teacher, to be given that type of autonomy, like it's empowering. It really makes you feel like your administration, your academic coaches really have your back and really understand what you're doing in the classroom with the kids, and they're there to support that.
Yeah, it makes you feel seen. It makes you
Yeah.
feel heard. And I just believe at my core that every person just wants to feel seen. They want to feel like they're heard, like they matter. And so just that simple gesture of, hey, you eighth grade teachers, you fifth grade teachers, put your heads together and
Mhm.
let us know what it is you want. Instead of this like top down, this is what you're going to do. But I'm not in your classroom every day. So why would I feel the need to tell you what to do for the students that I don't even deal with on a day-to-day basis if I'm in a leadership role, right? So it's
Mhm.
just that little gesture. If we have any district leadership people watching, anybody who might have a family friend or a spouse that's in leadership in schools, let them know that just that small gesture is really empowering for their teachers. And you get more bang for your buck, right? The teachers know the kids. So the benefit is there. So the kids are going to benefit not only just in the classroom, but also we know data is data. It's like supreme. So test scores, if you're in a testing grade level for a state test, you'll see the difference there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes when I think about like how education is, leadership, the workers in the building, like a lot of times I compare it to the business world or the corporate setting, because the school, even though it's earmarked educational, there are still aspects of it that run like a business.
Mhm.
And so, especially the leadership part of it. And so, like in the corporate setting, there are benefits, like documented benefits to investing in your human resources, your people that you have working for you. Like a lot of businesses that do that, like they have a competitive advantage. Like they get, like you said, they perform better financially, or just the higher satisfaction rate for their employees that are satisfied at work, enjoy going to work. You get more out of them.
Mhm.
Case in point, I almost all my friends are educator friends. So I hear a lot of stories when I talk to them. And one story I heard was about a principal who told an employee that the employee was basically asking, like, well, don't you want your teachers to want to come to work, to want to be in the building every day? And the response was very appalling. The response was like, well, they don't have to be here. They can choose to go work somewhere else. I'm gonna let that sit. Okay. So
That could take us down a whole nother road, but yeah.
and the flip side of that, when your teachers feel supported and empowered in what they do, like that's when you allow their creativity to come out. That's when you allow their innovation to come out. They start thinking about not just themselves, but the building as a whole and what they can do, what part they can play to make it better if you create the environment.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's the power of both and. You can have those resources, materials, and also investing in teachers in monetary ways and then also in a more holistic way as well. Doesn't
Right.
necessarily have to be money, but you need to balance it out. And it seems in our experiences for many years in the schools that it is very unbalanced. And so I just feel like when you don't invest in your teachers and educators holistically, then the consequences of that could be low morale. You know, people don't want to come to work if they don't feel valued. If they feel like all this time I spent going to school, getting my degree, doesn't matter because you're going to tell me what curriculum I need to teach. You're going to tell me what I need to teach, when I need to teach
Mhm.
it. You get, well, then why did I get a degree? Was it just to say I have this degree so I can enter the profession, or am I able to use that knowledge that I gained to meet the kids where they are in my classroom for that particular school year? So the consequences again, low morale, low retention rates.
Mhm.
Imagine your example you just shared, if that got back to the teacher, oh, he said, well, then I can go work somewhere else. You feel expendable. Why?
Right.
Why would I want to stick around somewhere where the person who's at the top is telling me you don't like it, leave? Not many people would want to stick around for that. You also have lower student achievement. And then, you know, I myself have been in this situation where I was ready to go and ready to leave the school. And I just like detached. I was coming, I was doing the job, I did it well, but I was not engaged. I was not like fully present. And it was just because I was fed up. I was fed
Yeah.
up. And so I was just coming in, ticking the boxes. I'm here. Today I showed up. I was here all 5 days. I did the job I was paid to do, but I wasn't fulfilled. And so then that eventually led to me seeking something else outside of the school.
Right. Yeah. And I could, like, I've been teaching for 18 years, so I've grown. I can say, thank God, I have grown a lot from how I used to respond to situations earlier in my career. And the schools that I was at, that I felt like that I don't feel valued,
There she is.
I don't feel taken care of or supported, I'm ready to go. Like, just like you said, you come in and you do the bare minimum. You
Hmm.
do the bare minimum for the job, and for some people it's the bare minimum for like your own standards, but then that's it. Like, your heart is not in it, your passion's not in it anymore. And so you walk, I in those cases I walk around the school and I'd see something and I'd be like, that's not my responsibility, let me go the other way, literally, because
You just check out.
you check out. Yeah, you're there for me, I'm there for the kids. I would love, and I want to be in an environment where the dynamics of the adults in the building, the faculty, the colleagues, with including the leadership, is like a family. And I've had those experiences before, and
Mhm.
they're great. Those were some of the best times of my career. But it definitely takes a toll on you when that part is not there.
Yeah. And this isn't like teacher specific. This is just human beings and how they operate. Think how we talk to our kids, how we encourage them, how we, let them know that they're valued. The family members in our lives, we do the same things with them. Those same skills and the way that we interact from leadership to educators, it's the same thing. So the message to districts is invest in your educators, not just buying more resources. It is both and the resources and the holistic approach as well. Invest in them as human beings, whether it be bringing in more support for them in the classroom, whether it be a extra para, whether it be take some funds and fight for your teachers to have those funds allocated in a way that meets their needs. And then that in turn meets the needs of the kids in the classroom as well. And we talked a lot about professional development in previous episodes too, having teachers have a say, a voice in what professional development activities they want to select and choose to do so that it meets the needs of the kids that they are interacting with and responsible for every single day, 180 days out of the year.
Right. And I love what you said, because we're in our, we always try to give solutions and things. And we always say that in a lot of these situations, there's not just one surefire quick solutions. But at the same time, these are things that can be considered. These are things that you can start incorporating, in small doses to see what works for the people in your building. And so you mentioned everything when you invest doesn't necessarily have to be financial either. I know we're talking about funds, but what are some of the other ways to address the whole of the people in the building? And I say people to include teachers and students. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, teachers love it, and society too, when students acknowledge and appreciate the teachers that are putting in the hard work every single day. We have Teacher Appreciation Week that
Mm-hmm.
is like the woo teachers, but y'all, we need more than a week. I'm just saying, we 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 need this on a regular basis, because you have teachers who put their life into being an educator because they feel called and they feel that passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, to have a kid come say or write a note or come say, "Hey, I see what you're doing for me, and I
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate that." Administrators, create those situations, throughout the school year. Hey, sweetie, how you doing? Create those situations throughout the school year. Like, most of those times, those are teacher generated initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
How great would it be for leadership to initiate something like that?
Definitely. And going beyond, like you said, the standard Teacher Appreciation Week, where I know you have your fair share of coffee mugs and chocolate treats and all of that stuff, which is appreciated, but it can be, again, the both and. I can both appreciate Teacher Appreciation Week and also want more as far as investing in me as a person as well. And then also more time to collaborate with grade level team members. Like we mentioned before in previous episodes, for myself in IEP meetings, I was told plan the IEP meeting during the teacher's planning period so we don't have to get a sub. So there went your planning period right there. You were stuck in an IEP meeting. So whatever you were, wanting to do during that time, I just ate it up with an IEP meeting so that, the school didn't have to get a substitute. It's those small things that I feel like can add up in big ways to help teachers feel valued and feel seen and appreciated as well. So when we talk about investing, again, it is the financial piece as well, because we know leadership has the people over them as well that are telling them what to do. And so, there are some things that are very challenging to work around, but something super easy. And as a teacher, would you feel comfortable going to your leadership to suggest, like, hey, I really think this is something that would help teachers just feel a little bit more pick me up, a boost in morale? Do you have an
Yeah,
administrator?
absolutely. But again, I'm different. Um, so a lot. I'm serious. Not. I don't mean it like that, but I'm just saying, um, it's part of who I am. I don't mind giving those suggestions and things, but there are a lot of teachers who are not like that, and so just giving them a voice,
Mhm.
giving them an opportunity, send out a survey. I was in a professional development session one time and we were kind of talking about this, and they were like, well, give them a survey and ask the teachers what types of things make them feel
Yeah.
appreciated. And then use the responses you get, and you will be amazed.
Yeah.
And different teachers, like you said, want different things. Like, if anybody's listening, I know I had a student come on here. Okay, Miss Wilson loves notes, and Miss Wilson loves Skittles. Okay, I'm just saying, I love notes that have meaning. I keep those forever. I have a whole box of them from all the years I've been teaching. I still have some from 18 years ago, and I love Skittles. So just little stuff like that. Find
Yeah.
out what your teacher's like. I also want to add that mentorship is huge because we talked about how teachers are not staying in the profession. And so they're also not going into the profession. Like our pre-service people are, that pool is dwindling. So when they do get in there, they really need mentorship on, just the stuff in the building, somebody to support them that they can go to directly instead of having to try to guess how can I do this? They're not going to be that comfortable usually making suggestions to administration. So
Yeah.
having that mentor there, it gives them that voice, somebody to hear them, to be the liaison.
Yeah. So hopefully tonight we have just informed some parents who may not really understand the inner workings of funding in at the school level, and then also just empower some teachers to speak up, use your voice. When we use our voice all together, the power of that collective voice is, it cannot be ignored. It's undeniable. And that power of the collective voice has to be used consistently. It can't just be one shout and then you don't get what you want and you just say forget it. It has to be consistent in order to drive change as well. So hopefully, we empowered some teachers and educated some parents as well. And that is our episode for tonight. So we will see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, every Tuesday here, 9 p.m. on Facebook Live, Instagram. We're getting to Instagram soon, YouTube Live, and also on LinkedIn as well. Have a good night, everyone.
Absolutely. Bye.